You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Oilersnation Radio is back on Tuesdays. Hello.
We are back.
And not only are we back on a Tuesday, we started ahead of schedule today because there's a Jays playoff game, and Tyler's very, very excited about it.
Getting going early.
Tyler wants you to speak a little faster if possible. Is that a...
It's a nest tease.
I was actually going to be...
We're on camera
We
now.
did this last Friday, too. There was talks about beers during the show. I heard them cling and clang together. Then Tyler walked into the cooler for the next couple hours. Now we're cracking pop cans in here.
I was going to get really upset because I was just like, I didn't get offered a beer. I would like a beer.
That's good.
Anyway.
That was a good joke.
There you go. We're going to start off, as always, by a shout out for our friends at Oodle Noodle. New location opening in Calgary, down in Beacon Hill. If you are in Calgary, you're welcome. All the best things come from Edmonton, and you know it. If you're in Edmonton, swing by any of those locations here in the city and grab a free Oilers Nation sticker. Mr. Yaremchuk, what have you got for a delicious debate?
Well, it's got to be all about the preseason, right? We got news this week that Brandon Sutter has decided to retire from the game of hockey, ending his professional career and ending his reign as the leading favorite to be the Oilers' 12th forward out of camp. So now the question must be, and the debate must be, who is the new favorite to be the Oilers' 12th forward on opening night?
Who wants to jump in first?
Well, I'll just say, first of all the best to Brandon Sutter. I mean, there was a guy that I think, like you said, Tyler, we all had him penciled in, made a huge decision there, recognized that it wasn't going to be there for the season. So huge for him.
It sucks. Body just gave up on him.
Yeah. It's
whatever you want to say.
It's tough to see. I think for myself, I'm looking within the organization. It's on brand, and it's one Brad Malone. I think that he has had this spot as the fourth line center waiting for him for a while. I don't think that there's an option out there. I want Lane Pedersen to be the answer, but I don't think he is. So I'm going to say Brad Malone.
All right. Well, that was a good show.
Liam, what do you got? Who is our 12th forward since it cannot be Brandon Sutter?
Well, it's not 34-year-old Brad Malone.
Whoa.
Sorry, Dan.
Ageism.
It could have been 34-year-old Brandon Sutter, provided he played at his 27-year-old season.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It was going to be 28-year-old Sutter, by the way.
I mean, I think it's Lavoie. He's the only one on a contract that's, not waiver exempt. And I just think he hasn't.
Malone's also on a contract.
But nobody's done enough to beat Lavoie. I don't think Lavoie's done enough to keep himself on the roster, but nobody's done enough to beat his spot either. So my answer is Raphael Lavoie.
Also, I'll say Brad Malone was Connor McDavid's teammate on the pickleball tournament. So there's that.
Inside track for Brad Lamone.
Brad Lamone.
Rick, who's the extra forward? Who's the 12th forward?
I'm going with Liam here. I've said from a very early on standpoint that I think Lavoie's going to make the roster, and I still believe so. Not being able to put him on waiver or having to put him through waivers is definitely part of it. But like you said, no one's really played him out of it. And so it really comes down to him and Peterson. And I think just if you can put Peterson down there and pull him up freely, then that's the obvious answer.
So you guys are in that scenario. Derek Ryan shifts into the 4-line center spot. And Lavoie takes
I don't know who's going to take the. I mean, he can take the draws, then you swap positions after that and kind of put him on the way. It is what it is. I wouldn't be surprised to see them play 11 forwards still, and then roll your 3 centers between the four wing pairs.
I think if Lavoie sticks, I mean, almost in any scenario that I guess isn't Brad Malone, I think you're putting yourself in that spot of 11-7 to start the year. I don't know if you can trust Dylan Holloway to be your 4th line center. I think a lot of people are just assuming it's going to be Raphael Lavoie. We had a chance to catch up with Luke Gazdick on Oilers Nation every day today.
What did he say?
He said, one, he's been disappointed in the entire race. He thinks that
I am too, actually.
He says Lavoie had a chance to just come in and beat the door down more or less and establish himself as the guy, and he didn't do it. Brandon Sutter, health let him down a little bit. That would have been really interesting if he was fully healthy. Adam Ernie's been fine, but he hasn't been amazing by any stretch. Brad Malone's been fine, hasn't been amazing by any stretch. So it's just kind of like this job's here, and nobody seemed to really wanted to, I think use the term, grab the bull by the horns and take this thing. With that being said, he also added sometimes teams or fan bases get a little bit too enamored with their own players in the waiver wire.
Don't buy it. Ottawa's
putting like all of their past first round picks on waivers. They don't give a shit. it's probably not the best asset management, but maybe Edmonton shouldn't be that scared of losing a second-round pick, Raph Lavoie. Maybe you just take the best player. And Luke's point was the best player has probably been Adam Ernie.
We learned that last year, though. You can put guys down
Yeah.
on waivers at this point of the year where no one's really going to touch
I
them.
really
There were
like that
There were a bunch of
mentality.
guys that you saw last year go down that you're like, could be, and then nobody touched any of them.
I think there's also going to be one of those days where, you know, a bunch of teams flood the waiver wire with their people. And if you can slide them in that way.
How many
you know.
games do we have left?
Two.
Yeah, so I don't think the race
Wednesday.
is over yet. But
Wednesday, Friday.
Today is the start of that because teams like the Oilers are starting to send their guys down. And so
well, I think we started a while ago. Today was only 3.
But the
We're
big
getting
waiver-
down to
Yeah.
the final roster, that's for sure.
I think the Oilers, if they're going to send down Lavoie, it'll be a last minute thing and they'll let everybody else do what they got to do and see if people get claimed. You know, forwards get claimed and then it's like, hey, well, now's our chance. Everyone's already taken everybody.
Is there an
So maybe
opportunity?
seek
Does
for-
anyone think that the Oilers just straight up claim someone and that is the option at this
Yeah.
12th forward?
I honestly haven't even given much thought to that. Like, there is a chance someone better than Raph Lavoie goes on waivers around the NHL.
yeah, it's a possibility.
Got to be better, and
There's other PTOs
got to
out
be
there.
better and cheaper though, or
Well-
at least equal dollar amount. You're running into trouble if you start talking about anything a dollar more than he's getting.
Yeah, or it's got to be a center, like a real legit guy where you're like
Like a
damn,
lockdown.
Well, I
it's
don't,
got to
like
be
a
28-year-old Brandon Sutter.
I don't know what the rest of the league is looking like, but there's PTOs out there. So I'm sure that Kenny and the team are looking at the rest of the league and the teams that are playing. So there's an opportunity.
Here are the line combos from Oilers practice today, Tuesday. Top line, they've got Kane, McDavid, Brown. Second line is Nuge, Draisaitl, Hyman. Now the interesting part. Holloway, Lavoie sharing the 3 LW reps with Peterson and Fogle completing that trio. On the fourth line, they've got Is it Ern or Ernie?
I think it's
Ernie.
Ernie.
Ernie on the left wing, Malone in the middle, Janmark and Ryan splitting the right winger duties.
Who had this again?
That is from Daniel Nugent-Bowman at The Athletic.
I'm a visual learner.
But just like it sounds to me that who would you have third line center?
Lane.
Peterson.
Lane Pedersen.
He's
Peterson.
obviously just taking McLeod's spot right now.
Mhm.
And then I really don't know what they're doing with the fourth line, but I would not expect to see Malone here for sure. And who is the centerman out down there?
Malone would be the center right now.
And Ernie's there.
Yep. So the fourth is
I don't
Ernie
say
on the left,
anticipate
Malone in
neither
the
one of
middle.
those guys are sticking around.
The janitor and Derek Ryan splitting the right winger duties.
But both Ernie and Pedersen would have to be signed. to join this
Pedersen
team.
signed.
No, so
Oh, is
here,
he? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
here's my reading. Let's play a little game of reading way too much into preseason
Let's do it.
practice lines.
That's what we do.
Top 6 is top 6.
Locked in.
Peterson is a placeholder for McLeod.
Mm-hmm.
And your third line is going to be Holloway,
Or
McLeod, and Fogle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your fourth line is going to be Ernie with one of Janmark or Ryan. Lavoie goes down, Malone goes down. Ernie makes the team, and they're going to go 11-7 on night
So
one.
you think
with one of
Peterson
them.
That's what you just said.
No, Peterson's just a placeholder for McLeod. So I think Holloway and Lavoie are splitting because you're just getting reps in practice. That's Holloway's spot. It's going to be a Holloway, McLeod, Fogle third line. It's going to be Ernie with one of Janmark or Ryan on the right side opening night. Malone, Lavoie both go down 11-7. Broberg's placeholder for Ekholm, or is Gleason a placeholder for Ekholm?
Or is Gleason the answer?
Well, anyways, we're again reading way too much into that.
Yeah.
I would still put money on Lavoie making this team, but reading off these
Same.
lines, the fact that it's Holloway Lavoie splitting and not Lavoie Ernie splitting is a little bit like
We learned last year not to read too much off
Lavoie on
lines.
his off wing.
Yeah, that was kind of. We
he's a
learned last
lefty.
year not to read too much into lines, especially not on game day. They used to run like set of lines 2 days before a game, and people would absolutely lose their mind. Then come
That doesn't
game
sound
day,
right.
it was exactly what you expected it to be, and people were overreacting and it looked kind of funny. So
I've never heard anybody.
That doesn't
overreact
sound right.
ever. What are you talking about?
Very logical, rational people,
Mhm.
especially about line combos and starting goalies. Anyway, I'm curious to know, who do you think is going to be the 12th forward? If you listen to this Owner Radio podcast, Twitter and Instagram, hit us up. I'm kind of buying what Luke is, just to give my answer. I'm kind of buying what Luke Asdick's saying.
do we have enough money to run 12-7 and 2
No,
on opening day?
I don't think so. No.
Bold approach.
So it has to be
12-7-1.
Hey,
Only-
nobody's doing that.
You only need one.
Yep.
It's true, they
Nobody's
only
doing
play
it.
one at a
CBA
time.
says you need to. The rules say you need to, but I say no.
Listen.
E-bug for the backup.
Embrace.
Oh, here we
reject
go.
tradition. Embrace modernity.
What if we make Connor a player coach and therefore his salary becomes coaching salary, which is not have a
Smart.
cap on it?
No. You healthy scratch the backup goaltender, if you will. You healthy scratch him. You get him off your roster, whatever. Give him a ticket. He's now the e-bug. And if you need him, you call upon your e-bug.
You get
You just really hope the other team doesn't get 2 injuries and then he has to go play against you.
That would be really awkward. Jack Campbell.
3D chess.
Yeah, 3D
Right.
chess coming on over here.
Canucks coach just comes in with a bar. And who is that? Who is their figure skater?
Tanya Harding.
Nancy- yeah.
Tanya Harding.
Tanya Harding and Nancy
Beats the
Kerrigan.
hell out of both of them. Boom. Jack Campbell's playing for the Canucks. Anyways,
I want to talk
Oh,
about.
wait, did you just say that Skinner's going to start game 1?
We'll see.
That's
that's
what it sounded
actually-
Well,
like.
let's
That's what
talk.
it sounded like
That's
to me.
next on the list.
That's what it sounded like to me.
I want to talk about that next on the list, but first I want to talk about Friday night at Century Mile Racetrack and Casino. We were there. Oilers Nation night at the track.
Did you win money?
Yeah, buddy, turns out I am very good at betting on horses. My strategy of picking the horses with the dumbest names or the ones that were most obvious to me, like first race of the night, Rick.
Yep.
Horse in there named Come On, See You Later.
Yep.
Who bet on Come On, See You Later?
You did.
I did. Who won? I did.
Well, come on, see you later, did.
Well,
But you won.
Listen,
by
how could a
proxy.
horse be slow with a name like that?
It's true. This is a good point.
Captain Fireball, winner.
Wow.
Yeah, that big winner too.
So
There's
are
a
you
lot
just
of doubt
going based?
behind
Are you
Captain
just going
Fireball.
based on names? Are you visualizing?
Are
Are
you
you
looking-
taking like a look at these horses first?
Listen,
Oh, well,
name's number one. That narrows
Right.
down the playing field,
Yeah.
right? Then the fun part about it was the horses do like a preliminary lap around the track, so you can get a good eyeball on them. We were checking out the knees,
this-
checking out.
This is the big difference between real and plastic. That your numbers would be much higher in the plastic realm if they would do like a little walkie lap around first.
Yeah,
I dig
100%.
it.
Anyway,
If you get
all
a-
I know.
If you get a digital horse strike racing game that works completely.
Well, hey,
You're
listen,
living
you
the
want to make
highlight.
sure the track is smooth.
Yep.
Like I don't know who had those little racing cars when you were a kid. You put
Yeah,
them on
of
like a
course.
little track, and
Yeah,
they'd whip the course, but he
Mhm.
went too hard. It snaps right up. Well, that's the same thing with the horses.
Well-
gotta be careful.
all I know is that as a plastic pony progressive winner, it translated to betting on real horses as well.
Your strategy worked. There was a couple of times I had buddies who were there with their pencils out, like making notes and like studying past races. And they were like, Bag Milk, that's a bad one. That's what they want you to bet on. Like, don't give into it. And Bag Milk said, damn you all. I'm going with my gut. And he won.
I once saw one of my waitresses a long time ago. We were betting on all the football games. So you just got to pick the winner,
Yeah.
pick the winner, and then hit the number at the total for the tiebreaker for Monday. She won 100%.
Wow.
I mean,
And this had zero to do with like anything like sitting down, who's playing, who's not playing. It was like, hey, what's their name? What's their color type of a thing. It was
Sometimes the
incredible.
system works.
Yep.
yeah, it was incredible.
The system works until it doesn't. But on Friday night it did. All I'm saying, if you're looking for a night out, that was my first time ever at Century Mile. I had a
Hidden
blast.
gem.
I had a blast. And a squad bet on a horse like Captain Fireball that starts off in 6th place and then comes back to win.
there was
Electric.
a lot of doubt behind Captain Fireball.
Yeah, there
A
was.
lot of people walked away from the glass, and I said, "No, it doesn't matter. The race is not over. The bell is not rung." And what happened?
Captain Fireball won.
Captain Fireball won.
That's why he was a captain and no longer a deputy.
kind of like when I always do my American Thanksgiving, the Oilers aren't making the playoffs.
Yeah,
The Oilers
exactly.
are Captain Fireball.
Yeah, exactly. Tyler, you brought up Jack Campbell. This guy has had a hell of a preseason so far. Another strong performance last night against the Kraken. My question is, how much stock are you putting into preseason performances for the goaltending, and what does that mean on opening night on Wednesday?
Well, Liam and I, first off, we talked about this earlier today.
Mhm.
The most staggering part of his stat line is the fact that his save percentage and goals against average are almost the same number. It's like 981 and 971.
His goals against average is better than his save percentage right now.
It's crazy. A week ago, Frank Saravalli said, do you think there's a chance you Oilers start Campbell game 1 against Vancouver? Not home game 1, but like that first game next Wednesday. And I was like, Frank, you're insane. But now I'm kind of sitting here going, I think you do. He's been the better goalie so far through preseason. I think it sends a good message that this is a healthy competition and whoever plays the best gets the spot.
Mhm.
I think it's a good message to Jack Campbell that like, hey man, we believe in you. Like
Played well, you earned it, you got it.
You got it. Also, I think it's somewhat of an easy tell to Skinner to be like, hey, we're splitting you guys a lot this year. It's not going to be 52 game, 30 game workload. It's going to be, 45, 37 or whatever that math is. That actually math is correct. I nailed it.
Well done.
The workload's going to be closer, and you tell him, we don't want Jack sitting on the bench for that long. We're giving him game one, and you get the home opener. Rockin' crowd on a Saturday night. Skinner probably goes, yeah, if we're splitting them, that's how I want to do it.
So you are penciling in 1-1?
Yeah, 1-1. Campbell game 1, Skinner game 2.
Take it.
What are you doing, Rick?
I think you probably have to wait a couple more games yet. I think you don't make that decision till after the Friday game or whenever the last game is, and wait a couple days after that.
Friday night against the Kraken is the last preseason game of the never-ending preseason season.
So we play another Oiler alumni team?
Yes, they are Oilers West. That's right.
Yeah, that's...
But is it in Edmonton though? 'Cause
It
might
is
not
in
be.
Edmonton.
It might not have as many former Oilers on it.
The last
it's
two
last game of the year. All
yeah,
those guys
last
will
two
be on the
preseason
roster.
games
They'll
are
be
here in
playing.
Edmonton. So they got Calgary on Wednesday. They got the Kraken on
Boo.
Friday.
Probably have Shore, but not much else, I would imagine.
Well, all those guys will play. You'll play the last
Do you
game.
think Larson and Yamamoto would come to Edmonton?
Last game before the preseason? Before the regular season? Oh,
No.
yeah, everyone plays. You
Fair
play,
enough.
you're pretty much a real eye on it.
Fair enough.
Just to be different, I'll say Skinner first and Campbell second, but I do think they'll go relatively 50% both down the line this year.
Dan, who are you starting game one?
On Oilers Nation's Instagram, they asked for the bold prediction, and I predicted that Jack Campbell's going to be our playoff game starter too. So I think that you go back to Jack, and it's a fresh page. You're also saying thanks to Skinner because you forced the guy to work his ass off the rest of the season because we weren't going to Jack ever. We were talking about going to Chet Pickard first. So it's
Sullivan.
I don't know, for me. Yeah, let's let him do it and reset the page on his entire Oilers career and see where it goes from here.
And can I just table that I am absolutely here for a Jack Campbell redemption season?
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Liam, who you got in game one?
I think it's Campbell too. I think he's earned it just from this little run he's had here, and also it's on the road. A little less pressure, maybe. If it was at home, I would say Skinner 100%.
Well, that's why I'm with Tyler. I think Soup will get game one in Vancouver, and then Skinner will have the Saturday night at home.
Yeah,
that's how I think it's going to play out. And it's not for lack of earning it either. Campbell's preseason's been fantastic. What else do you want him to
Game
do?
one's a shutout, and the goaltender stands on his head. Do you still swap him?
Yes. Because you
Commit to the bit.
Yeah, we did it last year with them, and we went with it until it wasn't working anymore, and then you went to Skinner.
It's going to be a fascinating story to follow throughout the season, like what the goalie splits look like. Mm-hmm. Last year, obviously, Skinner took most of the games down the stretch.
I think it's going to be really close to 50-50.
I do too.
Me too.
I do too. And I think if it's really close to 50-50, that the Oilers are in a really good spot also.
Yes.
Both guys will be playing well in that scenario.
We always tell ourselves we're not going to do the, take too much stock in preseason, get too excited about preseason. But I think there's a difference when we're talking about goaltending, right? Like, it's a little bit more like, it's just stopping the puck. That part of it's the same. And he's been playing NHL quality competition. The game in Calgary, perhaps more impressive than the one in Seattle because he was facing NHL quality competition with the Condors in front of him.
Yeah, he didn't have any.
Well, let me ask you a question though. As a counterpoint, just play devil's advocate. Do you think that performing well in the preseason will be easier for a guy like Jack Campbell because there's really no expectations on the outcome? There's really no pressure to perform well in terms of results.
I think for a guy that we have, since his time in Toronto, his mental fortitude has been called into question. I think to have that little bit of swagger that we've seen out of him is the part that's putting me over the top and excited about it. It's not just that he's making the saves, it's that he's doing it with flair and he's excited and he's out there. A guy that 6 months ago said he was crap and it was all his fault is now, popping up and making 10 bell saves that look great. So yeah, I'm with you, Tyler. It's don't go too far into preseason results, but when you're seeing those little things from a guy that you didn't see last year, that's exciting.
And also when it comes to the pressure, I think, obviously this isn't regular season hockey or playoff hockey, but if Jack Campbell would have came out and shit the bed for 2 straight preseason games, it would have been an interesting conversation happening right now. So I think there was a bit of internal pressure from it, maybe not so much external.
What kind of workload did he get in that game? Like some goaltenders are better when they get more.
Calgary was almost 40 shots.
Better when they get less.
34 shots last night.
Calgary was
44
almost
saves?
40.
So that's when you have the real team in there. Then you're only giving up 20 shots. Is he still going to be as sharp? Because you don't get the same amount of
that's
shots. Some
fair.
goaltenders are like that.
Because he would have known that team wasn't going to likely score the run support that he would have needed in a bad game. But I think that there's
no, you
something
give
to be
up
said for the guy.
more. You get more action. When you get more action,
Yeah.
you get more reps. You
Yeah.
become better. When you get less reps, sometimes the puck goes past you.
All about that action.
I'm straight.
All about the reps. You get better with practice.
Mhm.
That's what Rick's trying to get at.
And his equipment situation's probably figured out this year, which it wasn't a year ago.
It's new equipment again, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think he's got a better handle on it this year.
I hope so.
We hope.
Me too.
Yeah, like if he can trim down some of those the rebound control a little bit, we're gonna be miles ahead of where we're
Or the
at.
hole in his glove.
Mhm.
Well,
The literal hold in his glove.
He spent all season sewing that son of a bitch.
it's actually now a back catcher's mitt. You know?
Softball.
One of those first baseman's gloves that are just like fucking huge.
Yeah, gigantic. I'm into it. I want to talk about our friends at Alberta Blue Cross. We are just over a month away from the Nation Vacation to Seattle. They are going to be our official insurance providers on all things at Nation Vacation. If there's one thing better than sharing memories, it's making new ones, and that's what we'll be doing just over a month from now as we leave down to Seattle. What I want to talk about now is that we are very, very soon to be launching our trip to Arizona that's coming up in February. So if you want to go watch our beloved boys play in an arena that's built for ants, this is the
Watch
time
him in
to
the
do it.
agricom.
This is the time to do it. I promise you're going to want to come on this one. Stay tuned to our socials. Stay tuned to OilersNation.com. The details will follow. And our friends at Alberta Blue Cross are going to make sure that we get there safely and effectively.
The weather will probably be a little bit nicer there as well. If you want to just run away for a couple days.
In Arizona and in Edmonton in February? Come on.
Just a guess here. Not a meteorologist, but
Fun story about the Arizona Coyotes. I've been trying to track down the tickets for that trip. Actually, my ticket rep hasn't been answering my emails. I gave him a call today, and he let me know that the garbage dump that they were going to build the arena on actually caught on fire last week, and they haven't been allowed to go to the offices this week because there's toxic fumes coming from the garbage dump. So there you go.
Listen,
Every organization's gone through something like that.
Granted, you're not going to the Coyotes head office
Can't
on
go-
this
can't
trip,
get a
so you don't
gas
have to worry
mask?
about it. But they are not allowed to go into their office this
there's
last
a will,
week.
there's a way.
it sounds
you
to
go.
me like we might get a free contact high from huffing garbage. You know? Bonus.
That's what happens when you put your office right next to
Bonus.
a facility like that where it's being torn apart.
I'm hearing complaints, but I've got solutions.
The Oilers head office is still outside of the municipal airport, the Edmonton Municipal Airport.
Yes.
Gone but never forgotten. I want to talk about a couple of things that happened today. So Borgo last night against the Oilers West scored 2 goals. Got sent back down today to the Bakersfield Condors along with Seth Griffith and James Hamblin. Any surprises there for anybody?
No, not really. I actually thought Hamlin might survive like another day, but I'm not surprised he's gone down.
Malone stuck over him, I think was kind of the decision there.
Yeah.
You need someone to play center in a preseason game. Only need one of those two.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
guys about Borgo's preseason so far. Liam, I know you're on the Borgo train because you don't want to hear about Jesper Wallstead.
Or Wyatt Johnston.
How has he been looking for you so far through 6 preseason games?
I think he's been fine. His second goal yesterday was legit. That was a legit NHL goal. But maybe the writing was on the wall already. He only played like 7 minutes, 5-on-5, 11 minutes total. So he needs to go down to Bakersfield and have another year. But we talked about it today too. He's like, it's good that the pressure just isn't there for him. Like no one really needs him to be good right now. So I think it's good for Borgo just to go down to Bakersfield and hopefully have like a 50-point year.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Borgo? Anybody else?
I mean, you look at an organization like Pittsburgh where they just had wingers waiting to slot in after the next guy prices his way out of the market. So yeah, I think having good young wingers that are percolating in Bakersfield is an awesome thing.
I think, he didn't necessarily come in and win a job and make the team or whatever, but it's a successful training camp for Borgo because I think he took a step forward and a step up the depth chart. Like if they were to have 2 right wingers go down at some point in the season, I think you'll sit here and you can go, man, Borgo played good in the preseason. Like let's get a look at him in the NHL. Whereas coming into this camp, he would have been further down the list than that for me. So I think he did a good job of just making some noise in a positive way. And now, I mean, come January, February, if you need to make a call up and you need a top 9 winger, maybe you go, hey, let's give him a look.
Liam, I got to ask you, because last night Borgo scored 2 against the Seattle Kraken. How did you feel last night seeing your beloved Devin score in a Seattle Kraken jersey?
Well, I don't think heartbreak quite defines it. I need a stronger word than that.
Do you remember the quote we heard last Friday, correct?
No, that was someone else.
Okay.
That was someone else.
Just curious to make sure we all remember that.
It wasn't me.
That wasn't a fever dream?
No, I slept in my Devon Score jersey last night, and the hat was just on my bedside counter. But sad day. I got the 94 on the order, though, from the Kraken.
Thoughts on Kyler Yamamoto scoring against the Oilers? It was just one of those ones where, like, players move around all the time. It just goes, that was our guy. That was our little buddy.
Hey, as long as he does it in the preseason, that's a step in the right direction for the organization.
Sad part about Yamamoto is just that he got unfortunately priced out, right? Like we're talking about Bourgault, these guys having wingers who can just elevate in, and it's like, with him, there was so much excitement, and he was so close to being a guy that would have been homegrown, drafted, developed talent that could have been a top 6 winger, and like just got a little bit too expensive and was just a little bit too ineffective. So it sucks seeing him in another organization.
Let me ask you.
Great spot for him, though.
Last year, 58 games played, 10 goals, 15 assists for Yamo. The year before was the 20 goal, 21 assist season for 41 points. What do you predict for him in Seattle this year?
12 goals, 22 assists.
Put some thought into this.
I
asked
think
the
he's going to
group
be
yesterday if we had
mid-30s.
any homework. You said no prediction until next week, and here you are with a pocket full of projections.
I didn't
making us
ask
look
the
bad.
question.
He's got a
Can't turn it
binder.
off. He can't turn it off,
I'm always thinking about
It's the
He's an
skill.
encyclopedia.
When was the last time Yamamoto played 82 games in a season? Has he ever done it?
He played 81 and 21, 22.
Okay, so only the year before. I think he'll get injured again, unfortunately. So I'll say he gets like 8
He's
goals.
only had a couple years in
That's
the
dark.
in the league.
I know, but his injuries are lingering. It's the same injury over and over.
last year was
again.
really tough. That's a good point.
That was tough, yeah.
I think
So
he gets
staying
8
healthy, if he's
goals.
healthy, then you could put up another 20 goal season. Why not?
But saying that Seattle is just so equal the whole way, right? Like they play everyone the same. They don't have a star, so maybe he has a bit more success there than he would in.
Let me
other
ask you about
places.
Seattle, because last year nobody expected anything from them. They made the playoffs. They made it into the second round of the playoffs. But they also had a lot of things go right in terms of their forwards. Everybody scored last year. What do you expect from Seattle this year?
It's hard to say because I think Vancouver and Calgary are both going to be better, but also I don't think Seattle got worse, did they? Like
No,
I
I
think
don't
we're
think
all
they
we're all just assuming they're not going to be as good because guys will have regression. But I think until they prove us wrong or right or whatever, then they should be the front runner to make a playoff spot out of that 3.
I still think that their goaltending is their biggest question mark. And if
They
that
won in
isn't
spite
there-
of it last year.
If that isn't there, I don't know how they can sustain it because, like we said, their lineup was just full of 20
Have a
goal
lot of luck
scorers.
last year.
Yeah.
Tyler, what do you expect from Seattle this year?
So yeah, like that mushy middle, Liam said,
Yeah.
Vancouver, Calgary, Seattle. I think they're all going to be incredibly close. I think Seattle drops a good amount from their 100 and some points, and I think Calgary and Vancouver are both going to be a few points better. If I had to power rank them right now, again, just because it's preseason and all you have is looking on paper, I think I might be going Vancouver 1, Calgary 2, Seattle 3. I think they're third in that tier. There's no star power. You can't trust the goaltending. They have the worst goaltending of that trio. Their blue line leaves me wanting more. Last year they got 16 goals in 48 games from Eeli Tolvanen. Like, are you getting 30 goal pace from Eeli Tolvanen again? Probably not. Last year they had 20 some goals from Daniel Sprong playing on their third line. Are you getting 21? They let him go. I don't see anyone on that roster who's going to go on the third line and pop home 20 plus goals next year. I think they're going to take a step back.
Rick, thoughts? Seattle?
Somewhere outside of, they're not in the top 3. Outside of that, they're in that little, everyone's going to be racing for it.
I just think they're going to be the team with the confidence.
Their
because-
goaltending has to bounce back there,
We
Is
said
that
that we said that last year, and then it didn't bounce back. They just got better around them.
Well, no, Grubauer was, is that, how many years has he been in Seattle now? 1?
This will be his 3rd.
Oh, so he's been there. Okay, never mind.
He's
Intriguer.
been there as long as they've been.
But
there.
he wasn't their number one guy in the first year even.
His save percentages in Seattle, 889, 895.
I just think Calgary and Vancouver need to prove it to themselves that they can have success, where Seattle doesn't need to prove it to themselves anymore. They know they can have success. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference. If Calgary go into the season and Markstrom craps his pants for the first 10 games,
Again.
That's so
Again.
unlike him, though.
and like Vancouver,
So
they should have been better probably last season too. I know that blue line got a lot better, but like they still have a lot of question marks too. I just think those 2 teams, we don't know.
I've
don't know.
heard this Vancouver love more recently.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? Because Vancouver was so bad last year.
Their defense is way better
So
now.
bad.
But
So we
it's-
think that the
it's
defense
so
is-
easy.
It'll help.
People like young offensive players, and they have a handful.
Well, and it's so easy to look at them. And again, Gazdic talked about this today, so I'm kind of just repeating them. But like Thatcher Demko, when he's healthy, is so good.
Was
Quinn
really
Hughes-
good for a bit.
He was good last year when he was healthy.
Quinn
He was
Hughes
really
legit.
good in that playoffs a couple of years ago.
And he was really good last year when he
I
was
just
healthy.
don't think he's ever brought himself back to that.
Except for last year when he was healthy.
But he wasn't healthy all the time.
He wasn't.
Quinn Hughes legit.
Quinn Hughes legit. Elias Pettersson.
Although, is there a more miserable looking captain of an NHL team than Quinn Hughes?
Yeah.
The answer is no.
and Elias Pettersson, very, very good. JT Miller, good when he's motivated. I think a full season of Rick Tocchet will help him a lot.
Calgary's captain didn't look very happy.
Michael Backlund?
He didn't look so stupid.
Yeah, he also does. Well, I mean, he just got 9 million reasons to be happy.
If I had to power rank those three, I would say Seattle, Calgary, Vancouver.
So you're the exact reverse of me.
Is that what you said?
I said Vancouver, Calgary, Seattle.
Sounds
I just
about
think
right.
when you look at the team, like, so this is Seattle's top 6 on Daily Faceoff. Jared McCann, Beniers, Everly, Schwartz, Wemberger, and Burakovsky. I think that's a legit top 6.
So Yamo's not even in the top 6.
Yamo
Is that a
listed-
legit top 6?
I would say
If you
at
match it
least
up against
5
Edmonton's top 6, are you?
No,
Alex Wenberg?
But the
I would say
difference
5
is
of
that
those 6. Okay, let's read Vancouver's then. Anthony Beauvillier, Elias Pettersson, Kuzmenko, what's
Yamo's
this
not
guy's
even
name?
on there.
Phil
Giuseppe.
Di Giuseppe, JT Miller, and
Pizza
Brock
guy.
Lesser. I think they have 4 legit top 6 players.
and they have 2 players named Niels.
That is true. That is also true.
That's a knock
It's
against
worth
them.
noting.
It's
Yes.
a knock against them.
But the thing is, like, you can say that one Kuzmenko legit, top 6.
Yep.
Besser legit. Miller legit. Pettersson legit.
Beauvillier
Pettersson
is on the edge.
Beauvillier, yeah, is on the edge. Pettersson and Miller are both better than any forward on the Kraken roster.
That's true.
Maybe Matty Beniers one day, but for now, I would have, if next year only, Pettersson and Miller both better. You could almost make an argument for Kuzmenko.
But didn't we see that with the Seattle Kraken last year that it is just offense by committee?
Yeah,
Like it's
and, like,
not
Their
it's not a
depth
superstar.
scoring
And
was
Bjork Strand on the
legit.
third line, like
Yeah.
all of that.
Yanni Gord.
Yanni Gord on the third line, good. Yes, they'll kill you with 4 lines. I just think at some point, not having star power catches up to you.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Welcome to Carolina.
But like
They
Aho
finished
and
first every year.
Svechnikov are miles better than anyone on the Kraken roster.
No, but they don't have like a
Yeah, a
superstar, and that's
stud.
kind of been
Yep.
what's been said about them the whole time.
Yep.
Well, then we're talking about it. Well, let's do Calgary's then. Their current top 6, according to dailyfaceoff.com. Huberdeau, Lindholm, Mangiapane. That's the first line. Sharon Govich, Backlund, Coronado as the second line.
That's the third forward group, probably.
The center depth is good.
How's their $8 million player the third line center?
I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
a fair question.
Thank you.
Like you look at those
Dubois
wingers, and
is good.
how many proven top 6 wingers do they have? Mangiapane and Huberdeau, like is that it?
Mangiapane,
And then a bunch
man,
of
like
he'd be
Igor?
like the number 6, like he'd be the second line.
Like they're paying a lot for Blake Coleman to be on the fourth line, are they not?
But
I know
they're-
these are just
yeah,
preseason,
fair.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Their blue line's the best though.
better than Seattle.
Yeah. Uyghur, Anderson, Hanifin, Tanev. That's a really, really
Yeah,
good top
that
4.
is, and that's probably why I would have them second over Vancouver.
They were all there last year, right?
Huberdeau bounced back.
Yes,
That'll help.
most of
Tanev
those
was
are
hurt a lot
on.
last year, was he not?
Hmm.
I like the way Rick is going about this, just
Hmm.
chipping away at the
No,
flames.
I liked too. Like Rick is the voice of reason here in terms of
Roadie.
Terrifying.
eroding.
Pacific Division opponents. Yeah. And then a former friend, Jordan Osterley, on their third pairing.
Great puck doku answer if you need him. Edmonton, Minnesota, or sorry, Edmonton,
Chicago.
Arizona.
Pittsburgh.
Was he in Pitt?
I don't
Oh, it
know.
might have been.
Brad Hunt's another good one if you ever need one. If you still
Oh.
like puck doku.
How do you guys think it'll go?
Power
Also,
rank the
are
mushy
we
middle.
just going to assume that the LA Kings will be the third best team with goaltending tandem Cam Talbot and Phoenix Copley?
They'll be
I think they're
between
gonna
them
be
and
in
No,
there.
I think that might sink them.
I mean, that Dubois trade, I get it. They got the best player, but they also lost 3 players of their depth.
And they're-
Actually, the goals
goaltending's
they
got
sent
worse.
out more or less saw off what they brought in.
Like, I think they probably are the third best team in the division, but they're really getting locked into a group with Edmonton and Vegas, and they're not even on par with either of those teams.
They might be a great over bet at Betway this year. Just because, yeah, like I'll rattle off the forwards since we're doing this for kind of every team. Byfield, Kopitar, Kempe, very good. Fiala, Dubois, Kalia, very good. Deneau, Moore, Arvidsson, third line, very good. But then you go, I think the blue line could have some interesting moments next season.
What do
And
they got on the blue line?
Mikey Anderson with Drew Doughty, Vlad Gavrikov with Matt Roy, Tobias Bjornfoot with Brant Clark. So a young.
Are those the
third
defensemen that were against us last year? Essentially,
The only one missing is
Edler.
Jersey.
Sorry?
And Edler.
And Edler. Sorry, Sean Jersey.
They
is
lost
out
Jersey
now.
and Edler.
And then what about their forwards?
And
What
Sean Walker.
what kind of changes
And
have they
Sean.
lost there?
They lost the three
I
guys,
follow
Velarde,
and Kapari.
and they swapped them for.
Because I feel like they were a very well
were like a
defensive
Seattle.
taught team, which helped their goaltending. Because if you remember, we needed a goaltender for a while. Jonas Korpisalo's name came up many a times, and people trashed it, and they told you why. Here's his career numbers, blah blah blah, all sorts of reasons. Then you put him on a team that's very defensive sound, and he got better, right?
Well,
Or his numbers were better. He
Until
put
he-
up a
yeah.
better numbers, but better game.
Yep.
Now you can say that same type of thing with a different type of goaltender, though.
Mhm.
So their goaltending, you may not look at them what they were last year. You can look at them, go, what are these goaltenders like with a very strong defensive coach team?
Yeah.
We've seen that with Dubnyk when he left.
Yep.
So I won't until we see their goaltending start to be the holes
Yeah.
in the ship. I won't say that too much because I think their team might be what helps their goaltending.
But
But-
also at the start of last season, they had Jonathan Quick and Carl Peterson, who both stunk behind this team. And then they had Phoenix Copley and Korpisalo.
The whole
coming in
team was
both.
sucking at the beginning. Did they not turn it around as a whole?
I mean, when they got
well, the
goaltending,
goaltending, yeah.
yeah.
'cause-
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that helps,
they
right?
brought in
Cal
Copley
Peterson
and-
is not even an option for them, which is hilarious. He's
He-
gonna be making $5 million riding the bus.
he got sent down today.
by Philly.
Fuck yeah!
But
They,
I
didn't even
forgot
want
he
him,
got traded.
Yeah.
they didn't even want him to keep him at the cap floor.
Copley won like 11 games, I think, in
He
a
won-
row or something. Like
Oh,
that.
in a row. I
So-
think he won 24 last
Something
year.
like that.
I know their goaltending sucked at the beginning of last year. They persevered, but they needed to spend a lot of assets to fix it. I just look at it and I go, you have this forward group and D core that is probably good enough to win a Stanley Cup. And you somehow decided to go into this season with Phoenix Copley, who's played 68 NHL games, and he's like 30, and 36-year-old often injured Cam Talbot. I think that's a mistake. And it could
I
be
think
like
the
a-
Kings are gonna be legit.
They'll play hard.
I think they're legit. I just don't think they're better than Edmonton or Vegas.
No, I agree. I
No.
think the Kings are going to be legit, but I also
But
think that they're probably not as hard to play against as they were last year, given who they traded to get like a Dubois.
They're
Yeah.
still better than the
Those three,
Seattle,
yeah.
Calgary, Vancouver. So
Yeah.
it will be Edmonton 1, Vegas, LA battle for 2 and 3, and then everybody else will be
Mhm.
filtered down.
Could be 5 teams from the Pacific that get in this year. I don't think that's the craziest thing in the world.
How many teams make the playoffs? 8.
8
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All
and
right.
the Central
Well, I think Calgary missed the playoffs last year by 2 points.
and the
too bad.
Central might suck.
Hate to see it.
I enjoy it personally.
The Flames,
No.
the Central
I
sucking?
also talk
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Anybody else sucking that is not us is fine by me. The way I look at it. I want to ask you guys about the Ty Ratty Award. If you don't know, the Ty Ratty Award is what I give out every single preseason champ. And this year, I don't know who that is. There's no Brandon Perlini running away with it. There's no Ty Ratty running away with it. There's no Alex Chiasson running away with it. Who's been the best preseason player so far for the Oilers?
I think it's probably Brett. No, I'm just joking. I would say it was Sutter, but then Sutter, of course,
I
retired.
love him.
I think it's Ben Gleason.
It's Ben Gleason.
There's nobody getting more hype on Twitter right now than Ben Gleason.
Ben
Is that just
Gleason
because
is
it was?
He
probably
is-
been my pick also.
Yeah, he is the man. He is
Question.
him, as people say, I believe.
Was Alex not here before Tyrati?
I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure he won the Ty Ratty Award.
Because I thought he was the answer, and then
Alex
Tyrati
Taylor?
Well, he was the
like
answer.
The next answer, but
Well,
started.
we've split the awards, right?
the
Like,
Tyrati Award. I hope nobody gets because the Tyrati Award
last year was
is
Dylan
about
Holloway.
showing off in the preseason and disappearing in the regular season.
No,
then
not
we need-
I don't want
necessarily.
anyone disappearing in the regular
Not
season.
necessarily.
It's just the
I
preseason.
I think
Ty
the
Ratty was here
spirit
first.
of it was whoever just has the best preseason performance. Last year was Dylan Holloway.
But if we go back in our recent history, take all of those guys, and unfortunately, we go to Magnus.
well,
We go far back.
hold on, Rick, because
We've
some
seen
of the
a lot of
answers
guys
that
have
we've had.
massive preseasons.
Yeah,
and unfortunately not been there in the.
But we
regular
also
season.
named the other half of that award is the answer award.
Well,
Yes,
no,
the
they're
answer.
two different
but
awards.
Two
but
different awards.
but both of those have had that issue where sometimes our answers flame out too.
Well, they always do, but that's why.
No,
it's,
sometimes.
It's like a 24/7 belt.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, like the last person to carry the answer award throughout the season would have been Alex
Alex
Chiasson for
Chiasson.
sure.
He was a
year.
multi-winner.
That was he
And-
came in on a PTO and put up 22 goals as a net front presence on the power play. Like that is a legit season. But the original answer, if you remember,
He's a
was
goalie.
Al Montoya.
It's a goalie. Yes.
So this one goes back a while.
That's fair.
It was a
Goalie.
Coombsy at a party. At
That was
the
I think it was a Christmas party we were having where Coombe named
Yelled
Al
out.
Montoya the answer.
Yep.
Oh no.
Of course, the original answer, Allen Iverson, never gone but never forgotten.
AI.
Well, it's time with you, Oilers.
Now, nobody actually expects Gleason to make the opening day roster, correct?
No.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
just checking.
But similar to Borgo, I think if you would have asked me to rank the call-up options for the Oilers on the blue line, should they run into injuries heading into this year or heading into camp, I would have said Niemelainen, Deneen, Hoffenmeyer, then Gleason. And now I'm going Gleason, then Niemelainen, then the rest.
Yeah, see, I would have said Nemo, and then I really don't know because the rest of them
Yeah.
are all in the same category. And now I'd say Gleason and Nemo, both left shots, correct? Yeah, Gleason and Nemo are probably equal. And yeah, I don't know how you decide which one you want to call up first.
I think Gleason.
But you need two injuries in order to call up, or someone goes.
Well,
down.
Sometimes
Or
you
one.
need some insurance.
Ben
That's why I
Gleason
go
is
to-
insurance.
That's why I, go
I
to
just
my
think
friends
if we have an injury on defense, you'll see them go to 12 and 6 faster than you will bringing up another defenseman and continuing the 11 and 7.
Getting me armchair GM horny.
Sometimes you need some insurance, and that's why I encourage you to go to Cornerstone Insurance and make sure they get a little discount. For 90 years and 4 generations, Cornerstone Insurance has been Edmonton's premier boutique insurer with everything you need in terms of insurance products. If you go to cornerstoneins.ca/nation, you can get an online quote in just a couple of minutes. And if you use the discount code NATION, you will get a exclusive rate on your insurance products. cornerstoneins.ca. That's where you need to be. Got it? Good. Before we get into word association, I just want to do a little bit of promo. Number one, season launch party tickets are on sale right now. nationgear.ca. We are raising some money for kids sport. We are going to have a great night. That is Wednesday, the 11th at Greta downtown. We've got prizes to give away. We've got 15 pairs of tickets to a certain game that's outside, but I can't tell you which one.
What
Can you figure it out?
Could it be the Oilers Nation annual staff shinny game? I don't know.
Maybe.
Could be.
Wow, we're giving out tickets to that now?
Maybe there
Short
could
time.
be an event coming at the football place that the other team plays at, but I couldn't say for sure.
Foosball is the devil.
We can say the football place, can't we?
You know what? I just the cease and desists have been rolling around in my head for over a decade now, so we're just going to call it the football place.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
The Canadian football place.
The Canadian football place,
The big one, not the small one.
the big one with 60,000 plus seats in it that are blue and green.
Maybe there's a chance you're in
blue
one
and
of those seats.
what they're yellow and green.
I like that Jay told us to be less cheeky with this one, and you were like, no.
Yeah, absolutely not. So get your tickets, nationgear.ca. They're available now. It is going to be a great night. That is coming up 8 days from now.
Whoa.
You can see Liam there.
Whoa.
Wearing an outfit that Jay and Chalmers have picked out.
Oh, right. When do you guys find out about that outfit?
I think the night.
I think, yeah, like morning of, day
I
of.
cannot wait.
Will you
I
be able to mute
can't
these
wait.
people around you that night?
Yeah, hopefully I have headphones because we'll see. But everyone, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe.
I'm also looking forward to seeing everybody. I'm looking forward to going back at Greta. I'm looking forward to playing some vids. I'm looking forward to watching hockey. Once again, I'm waving at Kennedy, but she does not see me or hear me.
Kennedy! I like that you do that, like you're signaling to the bullpen. You're like, come on, let's go. Want the righty.
Well, this is like an audio podcast,
It
so
is,
we're trying to
yeah.
be the least amount
We
of
are-
disruption as
we're on
possible.
video now.
Before we get to Kennedy's gamer, while we wait for her to get settled in, let's step aside for a quick ad break.
That's a great ad. I love that product. That service is fantastic.
Liam's
Liam
wearing a hoodie
personally
with that logo on it.
endorses that service.
Green screen that right in there.
Mhm.
This
Uh,
will be a video today, though.
Full
Yeah.
pod available as a video.
This won't be our usual studio, though.
No, we
No.
were supposed to be in the new studio, but Gavin
Internal
was in the
miscommunication.
studio. Miscommunication, scheduling errors on our part.
Happens.
The other thing I want to mention is just some stuff we got going on at Oilers Nation this year on the content side, on the written side. Your game day stuff is going to be exactly as it was last year. So you're going to have your game notes. You're going to have your GDB from Gregor on the weekdays. Next day, you're going to have the wrap up in the evening. You're going to have the day after post the highlights as well. And then I will also be launching a 3 key things feature this year for every game day, where I just kind of pick out 3 storylines from the night before, kind of discuss them at length, a little bit different for the written content. On the video side, we are going to have a pre and post game show this year, along with Oilers Nation Every Day, that is now back to 5 days a week. Tyler, anything else on the show side that you want to talk about really quick?
Yeah, that pregame show is going to be awesome. I'm very, very excited to take people an hour right up to puck drop. I think that's cool. I think that's something we've been missing. The postgame show, I think, is going to be leveled up this year in a really fun way. ON Every Day back better than ever, season 2. So between ON Every Day, Gregor, pregame, postgame, 2 episodes of ONR, 2 episodes of Real Life, which should at some point start to feature Hockey Talk again. That's a lot of ways to consume the
Are
nation.
you new on that podcast? Lots of content coming, essentially, both written, podcast, live shows. Lots going on, OilersNation.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Of course, we want to get to 30,000 subs by the trade deadline.
Why?
So Tyler gets to do a boudoir shoot. I'm going to pick the outfits. I will be behind the camera.
How many subs do we need?
30,000.
What are we at right now?
17,000.
How much time do we have left?
Whenever the trade deadline is. That's
We
like
have,
what? Late February?
5 months.
5
6
months, people.
months.
Let's
Bot
get after it.
army assemble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell your friends. Actually, you know what? Just sign up for Gmail accounts until you've subscribed 13,000 times. For our friends at Wilhock Beef Jerky, we are going to pass over the word association torch to Kennedy, because Tyler did not want to do this, but we are going to have it live on anyway.
Incorrect. Well, actually, okay, true, because I did not want to do it. But I walked in the office one day and Kennedy said, "Hey, on Tuesdays, can I do word association?" And it was quite possibly one of the best things I've ever heard.
So we're going to have Kennedy run this now. There's going to be more than 3 seconds worth of effort during the podcast to put it together. We will see how this goes. But of course, Wilhock Beef Jerky, 3 locations around the city, in and around the city. Spruce Grove, Leduc, and West Edmonton Mall. Go get yourself some pickled eggs. Go make yourself a basket out of beef jerky, and you can carry your life around with it and then eat the basket when you're done.
I like that.
Right? Wilhock Beef Jerky is delicious. I turn it over to Kennedy for word association.
I do have to say, though, Tyler, when I asked you, you did not hesitate to say yes, you can have this.
No hezzy.
Okay, there I've got 5. Word association. We don't have a theme song for this yet, but we'll get there.
Dun. There you go.
Thank you, Liam.
What's the order?
Order, let's go. You want to go? Okay, we'll start Rick, Ty, Liam, Dan, BM.
Pressure's on.
Okay, number 1, the new ONR logo. Be careful with this one.
Dope.
Smooth.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Sexy.
Thank you.
It is cool. Great work, Kennedy.
Thank you. Pat on my back. Yay! It's out there. Okay, number 2, the Jays making the postseason.
Barely.
Nerve-wracking.
Elimination.
Canada.
Moonwalk. Kind of backed in, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
That's a good
Go
one.
Birds.
That's creative. Okay, number 3, Oilers preseason is almost over.
Thankfully.
Relief.
Epic.
Soon.
Thank you. Kennedy broke it this
I
time.
broke
I got a new one.
my first arm.
Does anyone make microphone
Okay.
arms on that's listening to us right now?
Oh
I
my-
have new ones and they're way better.
Okay,
Why
good.
didn't you bring them out yet?
You should
This
see
is-
the ones
He's
that are-
holding back the beers
He
and the
didn't
mic
think we were
arms.
going to be in this room.
You should see the ones that are in the other podcast room. They're just so much better. This thing is what, twist tied on?
Or like the one I'm using right now. Beautiful.
Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah,
for
that
a
one's
week. It's good.
great.
It's a good mic.
You can, it's
I can hold
sturdy.
the
You
mic
can
for
put
the
like
rest
a
of the
burger
pod.
on there if you wanted to.
Okay,
Yeah.
number 4. So Yamo yesterday saying that it felt good to score against the Oilers.
Oh.
Oh, inevitable.
Heartbreak.
Oh. Yeah.
It can't be heartbreaking. We've
sucky.
seen this 1,000 times before.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's Yamo.
Kind of feels irrelevant.
Scorned.
Expected.
Good. Okay, number 5, last one. The Chiefs being up 2-0 in the Swifty era.
I didn't watch.
Enough.
Taylor Swift forever.
Magical.
One word.
The expected result.
I literally turned it off in the first quarter because it was too much Swifter stuff.
Oh, I thought it was funny the first week, and now I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
No, yeah, they have. I won't watch the Chiefs